Hi, my babies. Welcome back to Love Forever and Always. I want to thank all the people that were encouraging this week, the ones that checked on me, the ones that sent their love. Um, Monday was my daughter's death anniversary, and it's the first one I've had to go through. So um, it honestly didn't hit me until the next day, which is really weird. But nevertheless, it did. It got me a little under the weather, a little discouraged, among some other things. But I'm better now. So thank you guys for the love. Thank you for being there for me. Thank you guys for the encouragement. Thank you guys for the kind words of, even the ones that says I'm helping you guys. I love helping. I'm so glad that I'm helping you guys. So let's jump into the rest of our series of the sins because remember, we are cleaning ourselves out. And our next sin is greed. We've already covered pride, wrath, laziness, and envy. So now we're on greed, and we have two more to go. We're almost there. We're getting all this stuff out, and then we're going to start putting in all the right things. So when we say greed, we associate greed with wanting a bigger house. We're wanting a bigger car or a nicer car. We're wanting more friends, a big neighborhood, whatever. But it's just wanting more of. We don't associate greed with some of the small things, some of the little things that we don't think of on a daily basis. We can associate greed with being there for somebody, um, whether it be monetary or whether it be um, physical, or whether it just be support. Um, when we don't offer any of those things, we are exemplifying greed. So not only do we have the monetary value, we have the um the other little ways. I want to tell you guys this story real quick, because this one touched my heart. Um, and if if you're on my Facebook page, I've spoke about it. But it meant so much more to me um, when it happened because when you don't realize when you're setting an example what you're setting for other people that are watching you. And this one meant a lot to me, and to others they'd be like, okay, she did it, but to me it's much more deeper. So anyways, my kids had got a job, and I sat down and I broke their money down into savings, tithes, bills, and then whatever else they want to spend their money on, they can. um, it's not a secret. I didn't grow up in a church. I didn't grow up around a super religious family. I had super religious people in my household, but I didn't grow up around it. So, things are new for us. Um, but tithing is one that I've learned that you benefit from. Now, don't get me wrong, even though I didn't grow up in the church, so I had to learn about tithing. I've always been a giver because my motto is you never know what somebody else's story is. So it's not my job to judge. And then I remember the old saying that somebody says you never know if that's an angel in disguise. So you never say no. I have no idea where that story came from. I just remember it, so don't ask me. But anyways, so this one particular day, I took my kids to cash their checks and to run them to the store. And ever since they've started working, they have been very, very good because we're all alike. If somebody is on the side of the road with a sign, I give them change, we give them dollars, whatever else. The kids chose this way to tithe, is instead of putting it in the hands of a church, they rather give it to somebody in the need, a community, a homeless person, whatever. And I said, that's fine. So this particular day, I took them to cash their checks. I took them to run to the store. So as we're leaving the store, there is a lady outside with her child, and of course, she has to sign that she needs food. I didn't bring my purse that day. So I asked the kids, do they have some change so I can give the lady? Now, keep in mind, I do not make my kids give people money. They know what they're supposed to do, they know, and I expect that. However, I also still do what I'm supposed to do. So my son only had a couple dollars on him. I think he gave her a 10. And Tamaya says, well, I only have $50 bills. Mind you, she just cashed her check. So I said, don't worry about it. So I get ready to pull off. And Tamaya says, Mom, what you doing? I was trying to give her something. I said, what were you going to give her? She says, the 50. I said, are you sure? And she says, yes, Mom. Can you please turn around? My daughter gave her a $50 bill. Why does that soften my spirit? One is because she's being obedient. She doesn't know this woman's story. She doesn't know whether the woman is lying or not. But if she's led to do something, she does it. And in that moment where Tamaya, this 16-year-old girl that works a few hours a week, only makes so much money, she put herself to the side and gave that lady $50. For some, $50 ain't nothing. They could throw that, give that to anybody 10 times a week. Other people, like my daughter, that's hard to come by. And she had things to do. However, knowing that my daughter is watching me and she sees my countless acts, she goes over and beyond. Another situation, later on that week, she had some dues to pay at school, and one of her classmates didn't have the money. She let him borrow it, the keyword borrow. However, she's not expecting that back. So I say that to say this. We don't realize when somebody comes to us and they say they need something, if we don't give that to them and we have it, we are committing the sin of greed. It's not our job to judge whether they need it or whether they don't need it, because God says if anybody comes to us in a need, we're supposed to provide if we have it. So if somebody comes to you and they say they need $1 and that's your last dollar in your pocket, you're supposed to give it to them. This week, I had the hardest time accepting being there for people when I need people to be there for me. But again, remember when I said every time I get ready to do a lesson, God does something, puts me in a situation so I can understand my lesson a little bit better. This time, it was me needing to be there for somebody else and pushing me aside. And I've done it several times before, and I didn't realize I was exemplifying, I wasn't acting in greed. But there have been times that I have been greedy. There have been times when somebody's reached out to me and I've said, I just can't do it today. I can't tolerate it today. So I'm guilty of that. And I had to repent. And this week was one of those weeks, the last couple of days was one of those days where I really just I just want to deal with me today. I just want to focus on me today. But, excuse me, I didn't. I pushed myself to the side. And if I got the phone call, I answered it. If I got the text message, I responded. I reached out. But it was because people were saying, you're such an inspiration to me. You're so strong. And so I just gave you two simple ways that we commit this sin, greed, and we don't realize it. I challenge you today is if somebody says they need, provide for them. give it to them. Don't expect it back. Just be there and give them what they need. Going through this whole situation with my husband, I remember having to just throw my hands up. Now, I didn't give up on him. Don't misunderstand what I said. I threw my hands up of the situation. I left everything on the altar. I put me to the side because where I was showing my greed in the situation is I wanted to prove that I was right. I wanted to prove that I was hurting. I wanted to prove that I was sorry. I wanted to prove that I was Mrs. King. I wanted to prove so many different things. And I exemplified being greedy because I wanted more attention, more rights, more validation, more comfort. See where I'm going? I was being greedy. For standards, how are we being greedy with our spouse? What are we doing? How much of the me are we putting in there? How much of the me are you taking out? See, side note, for standards, when we realize the enemy has our spouses, when we realize there's negative influences, when we realize there's naysayers, there's doubters, we have to stop being greedy. Because our greed is adding fuel to that fire. We're wanting validations for everything. We're wanting the phone calls, the text messages, the sorries. We're being greedy and wanting to take over instead of letting God take over. So you have to remove yourself enough and say, God, take this greedy sin from me. Take this situation from me. And you handle it. I was praying on something very specific for the past few days. And God finally answered me last night with Mark 2:9. And in the verse, he's basically saying, he's the healer and he's the miracle worker. We are to forgive just as we are forgiven. We are to believe in forgiveness just as much as we are to believe in healing. When we are being greedy and we're wanting more, we are putting our hands in the situation and not letting God heal. We're not letting God perform miracles. We know that God provides. God's going to provide the healing. He's going to provide the miracle. He's going to provide the funds. He's going to provide peace. Whatever it is in that situation going on, he's going to provide it. So we don't have to be greedy in our need for it. We just have to say, God, take it. take this from us. And to show that we appreciate it and that we trust God and that we really want this sin removed from us, instead of needing everybody there for you, find somebody that you can be there for. So I challenge you today to go through your phone book, go through your Facebook page, or just be more attentive. Hear somebody's cry for help and be there for them. Be the support that they need, be the love that they need, be the educator that they need. But either way, be there for them. Don't expect somebody to be there for you. Don't say, I can't be there for somebody because you need somebody there for you. Be there for them. Plain and simple. Find somebody that needs something. Whether it be your pastor, your confidant, some random person, an act of kindness, but give them something. Even if it's $1, even if it's your last dollar, give it to them. If you don't have that last dollar to give them, just give them a word of encouragement. Give them the word that says, I love you. God loves you. I'm thinking of you. It gets better. But remove yourself just a little bit. And just reach out your hand a little bit more. And see how things start happening and things start changing when you stop being greedy. Stop worrying about what you receive and worry about what you're giving. That's our plan for today. We're going to worry about what we're giving, not what we're receiving. So I hope you guys are doing the different exercises that I give at the end of the videos. This one, of course, we're going to give a little bit today, and we're not going to ask for anything in return. And then we're going to write down different little ways that we're greedy. And I mean, just start from the moment you get up to the minute you lay down. Even if, I know for me, I'm not a morning person, so there's times when I really, 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 really want to sleep. I really, 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 really want to get back in the bed. But I have to give God his time. So when I don't give him his time and when I just sleep a little bit longer, or I say, oh, I'm just going to lay in the bed and pray today, that's when I'm being greedy. I'm robbing God of his time. I'm saying I want more sleep, so I'm going to get more sleep. You're just going to have to wait. We're not doing that anymore, right? We're cleaning ourselves out. So even if for me, if it means forcing myself up out the bed, give him his time, I'm going to do that. I'm going to reach out to one other person today. I'm going to donate a few dollars to one more person today. I'm going to share the word today. And I encourage each one of you guys to do the same. And we're going to start from the top of our day to the bottom of our night. And we're going to go through everything that we do on a daily basis. And we're going to see how it makes us greedy. And then we're going to, on the side of that, we're going to have a column One column is going to be our greed. Our second column is going to be, how are we going to fix that? So go over all the sins we've gone over. Make sure that you're practicing these things each and every day. It doesn't happen overnight, but with practice, it gets better. Nobody's going to be perfect, but we can be better. And that's all we're going for, just being better. So do that today. I love you guys forever and always, and I will see y'all next time. Love you.